Hey, this is Roger Thunder with the Red Road channel. Welcome. I thought in this video I would do a deep dive into just to get your feet wet for future stories. I would present the Apache people. And I love the Apache people because I was raised in Arizona, number one. And I hiked the Apache Trail. Hell, I was an Apache for all practical purposes. I hiked the Apache Trail. I swam in Canyon Lake. I climbed the Southwest Mountains and went out by the Superstitions and just was all over the place as a kid, young man. Knew the whole area intimately, felt all the desert spirits, so I can really identify with this whole thing, the Apache feel. And so it is some of my favorite people, the Lakota and the Apache. I'm going to just dive right into some photos here, play it by ear here. I thought I'd start off with this one just to give you kind of a feel of what it was like in Arizona. And of course, this is a painting of an Apache in Arizona, saguaro cactus. The saguaro cactus is not found in any place except Arizona. Well, there are other parts of the world, I think, maybe. But in the States, it's mostly southern Arizona, middle Arizona, central, not up north though, not up north. But this is kind of a feel, the sun, yes, it does get quite hot there. But as a kid, it didn't seem to bother me a bit. Not really. I was out every day hiking around with my dog Misty and my buddies and jumping in canals that were full of snakes and scorpions and swimming around. Oh, well. I thought I would start off with Geronimo. I'm going to come back to that picture in a minute. But I thought I would start off with the colorized picture of Geronimo. And this was later on in years. He had gone through several prison internments or camps, one in Florida, and this picture I believe was taken at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, where they all ended up. Most of the Apaches ended up in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Later on he got captured. Now I'm going to go back to this picture. There's no logical order here. I'm just going to explain it as I come to it. These are archival photos. Some of these are real hard to get. They're in my archives. You might not be able to see these in too many places. This is a picture of Geronimo and some other of the braves when they were, this was after they were captured or surrendered after the final deal. And they were being shipped back to Florida to a prison back there. But they stopped periodically on the train. You know, they stopped at places and had pictures taken at these different places. So this is one of them. It's a great picture. Here's another one that is kind of in that same well, the same explanation. They stopped, you know, they stopped. I think this was in Texas, this picture was taken, and this is Geronimo and Nape. Nape was, I'm sure you heard of Cochise, the famous chief Cochise. This was Nape, this was his son here, and he was real good buddies with Geronimo. He was with him all the time because Geronimo was the chieftain for Cochise. He was his war chieftain, okay, for a long time. Here's another great picture of Nape and Geronimo. Now see, it's weird because, you know, they're making a clothing transition here as they are. Before the, as you could see, you will see in other pictures, they're in breechcloths and basically half naked and warriored out. They like to wear breechcloths, and they just like, you know, free like the wind. What can I say? This is a great picture. Okay, so these are just a bunch of Apache scouts that were in their prime back then. This guy, Alcache, no, it's, what's his name? Alchese, sorry. What a great warrior. Kind of like the Apache Kid. Now, he played both sides. He was a tracker and a scout for the Bluecoats. Others in here were also the same thing. You're looking at scouts here, okay? That scouted for the. Look at this kid. Here, I mean, this is how young they started. This is how young they started their training. Amazing people, colorful people, earthy people, down to earth, real warrior people. Okay, this is Nana, N-A-N-A, I think, Nana, or Nana. I don't know exactly how you pronounce some of the Apache names are the hardest to pronounce ever. So, this is teacup hat, Nana. What a character, man. This guy would wear, he rode in the saddle till he was 80 years old. He had a broken foot, right? His nickname was Broken Foot. And he was a chief, and he dressed any way he wanted. He wore any kind of hat that he wanted, and it didn't matter what it looked like. If he was a hat man. He'd wear anything. Okay, very cool dude, very strong, fierce leader and warrior. Love these people. Here's a painting I thought I'd throw in of Geronimo just to give you a feel of the excitement and all that good stuff. Looks like he's with Nape and one of his warriors there. Very cool painting. Love stuff like this. Like I say, I'm somewhat of a historian. I know both sides. I know the gunslingers, and I'll get into that later on in this channel if people want to hear that. I mean, you know, people like John Wesley Harding and Wyatt Earp, and just the whole slew of Pat Masterson and the real Jesse James, the real story. But anyway, I digress. It's a great picture. This is Goyan. This is Goyan. I love her. I'd marry her. I wish I was back there now. This is a woman warrior par excellence, and she was married to a man that was a good warrior, excellent warrior, actually, excellent. Let me just say good, excellent. Catanier, we'll come to him later. This is Goyan, and she used to hang out with another woman warrior named Lozen, or Lozen. And Lozen was well known in, you know, the annals of history as far as being one of the supreme part of the crew that was with everybody all the time. Geronimo, Victorio, she fought with everybody. I'll tell you more about her later. This is Alchese again. He was in that other picture. I kind of did a little kind of surreal coloring on this one, just to bring out certain features. Actually, I took it from another photo, this one. But I like them both. So yeah, you got these people that posed in different places. Usually it was kind of the same place for some reason. I think it was because there was a photographer named Fly that was in Tombstone at the time, and he went out a lot of times, or he came across, he had places where he had have Apaches come in and take pictures of him. I think that was it. Looks like Alchemy likes his Winchester. Could be a Henry, though, which was a repeating rifle, which was very rare to have one. If you had one and you were an Apache, or any indigenous tribe back then, when the repeaters came out, you wanted these. Okay. They came after the breech loader, which was a good gun, and then before that it was flintlock, but this was a great gun. Okay, here's a guy named Loco. Check this guy out. This was a really strong chief. You might wonder what's wrong with his face. Let's zoom in and I'll show you what's wrong. He was mauled by a bear. He actually got into a fight with a bear. This guy did. You could see the claw marks across the face there. And he was that way for the rest of his life. You know, he didn't try to, he just was who he was. That was a badge of honor, really. People went, hell, you got mauled by a bear and lived? Are you kidding me? Seriously, these people were strong, colorful people. This is the way people should be today. Okay, we could take a lesson from this for strength and fortitude and what these people went through. Remember, these people were considered enemies of the white man and the blue coats, and there's a whole story about how all this thing started. You're going to hear so many stories from me about Cut the Tent and the Bascom affair, and I'm just going to go on this this road that I'm on. Incidentally, the Red Road, the name of this channel has to do with the prayer circle and medicine wheel that I started. But each tribe had their own Red Road. The Lakota, they called it different things, but they had their own way that they walked with nature in accordance with the right principles. They were much alike in many ways. Okay, I did a colorized photo here of the Apache Kid. This is the Apache Kid. This guy is, in my mind, probably one of my favorite characters. Shit, I think I was the Apache Kid in a past life or something. I get the feel sometimes. But anyway, this guy was a supreme tracker. He started off when he was 19 years old, just a kid. I'm going to try to pronounce his name now. Haskebenenato. Haskebenenato was his name. But that was such a hard name to pronounce when he was hanging around the fort and stuff that everybody just said, okay, we're not going to do this. I can't pronounce that name. We're just going to call you Kid, or the Apache Kid. So he became known as just Kid, but in a broader term, Apache Kid, all right? But just Kid, when they saw him coming, hey, it's Kid. So this is cool, and he's, see, now he's holding, looks like a breech loader in this. Difference in guns, Got the saguaro cactus back here. The mountains, looks like a lot like the mountains that I grew up in. Raised in Arizona, like I say, and so yeah, that's the Apache Kid. More about him. See, I got a whole story. I wrote a book about this guy. It's not finished, but I might put it out as a dime novel until it's finished or something. I don't know. But yeah, I wrote a book on this guy, and I'm going to be doing stories about him more in future videos, kind of like I did with Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull and that type of thing. I'm going to jump into the Apache area. Now, the difference between, let me just say something at this point. The difference between Apache people, I'm going to talk about this in a minute. The difference between the Lakota people and the Apache people was like yin and yang, you know, that, yeah, they were both warriors, okay, and they both were strong, like Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull. But in the other camp over here in the Southwest, you had Geronimo Goyathle. That's another thing I should have said. His name is really Goyathle, one who yawns. But the Apache were the supreme guerrilla fighters. We'll get back to the slides here in a second. They were the supreme guerrilla fighters. They were par excellence. You couldn't outdo them. Hell, they could run 80 miles in the 110, 115 degree heat. 80 miles. Go out and try that sometime. And you know, it wasn't like, I got to say something here too about the movies you see sometimes with the, you know, Southwest movies, old movies, you know, back in the 50s or whatever. They had some pretty good portrayals, and they had them in the right costumes, dress in these movies. But some of the characteristics were pathetic. I mean, that wasn't the Apache at all. Number one, oh, they don't fight at night. You see that in the movies. No, they actually love fighting at night. They were stealth fighters. And then another thing you hear them whelping and yelling and whooping and hollering when they're chasing the white man. No. Pretty much if you were going through Apache country, you didn't even know they were there until they were on you. All right. They were on you. That was it. That was the last thing you saw. So there was none of this chasing around for miles and miles and whooping. Yeah, I mean, sometimes they might have done a wagon train raid or something, which they did, or a stagecoach. But they were on it quick. They came out of nowhere. It wasn't like they chased them for a half a mile. All right, I had to tell a little story there. Let's get back to the slides. So let's go to another picture of the Apache kid. Now, see, this guy was a chameleon. You know, I mean, I'll get into it when I get into his story, but this guy was just a supreme shape-shifting guy. He could have long hair in 1 minute, you know, real long, bushy, looked disheveled. Next minute, he would show up as kind of like almost like it looks like he's got an ascot on. It's not, but he would dress very prim and proper. He could cruise right in with the white man. He could even look like a vaquero or anywhere at different times in his life. He had short hair, long hair, just depended, you know. We'll get to that later, but he was the supreme tracker and the supreme warrior and the supreme elusive, okay, because they never caught him after whatever went down, which I will tell you in the story of the Apache kid, and I'm not going to go into it now. Here is just a great picture, I thought. Not the best quality on this. I should have sharpened it up a little, but just people hanging out around the campfire. I mean, and see, that's the kind of feel that I like to get when I'm talking to you people, is just hanging out around the campfire. And I got other pictures in here too, and just talking and storytelling and sitting in the medicine wheel, the prayer circle, and the red road. That's the feel I want to get in as far as the actual prayer circle as well. But I had a previous group called Campfire Council, which this is just really an extension or a rebirth of that. It could be that as well, the Campfire Council, the Red Road Prayer Circle. Might incorporate them both. Here's a picture of when they shipped Geronimo off. When they finally surrendered and they shipped him off in chains. I don't know if they got chains on here. Do they? No, not in chains. They took the chains off, that's right. They put them on the train. All right, they loosened up a little. And there's all kinds of famous people, including Geronimo in this picture. Geronimo and Nape. See, he was always, they were like, always together, man. Had each other's back. Very end. And then in here you have, this is Goyan, I'm sure. It looks like her, the one I showed earlier. And now in this picture, Lo Zen is in here. See, not too many pictures of her, very rare. So back here, back behind everybody, this is Lo Zen, the famous woman warrior. You can barely see her face, right? But guess what? Guess what? I found a picture of her in a very obscure Mexican archive. And I actually did a colorization of it. And it ended up in True West magazine. Anyway, this is right before they shipped him off to Florida. This is the Apache kid again. See what I'm saying here? How different he looks? Kind of disheveled and just funky and whatever. But before he was all prim and proper, chameleon. Another picture of him. Great photo. This is a famous picture of the meeting with Crook, General Crook. And remember, I talked about Crook in my other video on Crazy Horse. He was the guy that came in and they hit at the Rosebud first, and then he ended up Nantan Lupon, is what Apaches called him. And this is a famous picture of him in a famous powwow with Geronimo, where they agreed to meet in this canyon. I think it was Turkey Creek or something. And it was a kind of a talk to see if he'd come in again and surrender, because he was off, he was out of there, and they were trying to get him to surrender again. And this was the final talk, and he actually ended up bolting after this, taking off into the hinterland. No, actually it was the desert. But here he is, and it's labeled Geronimo, and then see, we got Nana here, the guy with the teacup hat, and then we got Caetano, and we got Noche, and I wonder if they meant Nache. I think there was a Noche too. He had to have been in there somewhere though, Nache. Chihuahua, great chief. Yanoza, one of the guys that always hung around with, and Fun, and Tisisna, and Ozana, and Lazia. They're all there. All these guys were part of Geronimo's band of warriors. And they're talking, and he bolted right after this. He didn't Geronimo just say, yeah, no thanks. See you later. Don't think I want to surrender. And he never did. He never surrendered to the very end. He went on and on and on. Took 5,000. I think they had, more than that maybe. I'll have to review that. I think it was more like 10,000 or people out looking for him at one time, and they never caught him. I mean, miners, bluecoats, everybody was after him, and they never found him. He always eluded them. Geronimo was a master medicine man and warrior, and he had the power. And Dage Hogate, which was from Yusen, and him and Lo Zen. Now I got to tell you a little story about this Lo Zen, the woman warrior that I told you about earlier, that was hiding behind the other person. Him and her had special powers, strong powers, psychic powers. This is another picture of them on the way. This is a good one, little washed out here. But these are archival. These are hard to find pictures. You're not going to find them a whole lot of places except right here. Here's another Apache warrior. His name is Bucket Zogi. Piketzogi, probably. Something like that. Another stylish character, wouldn't you say? A lot of character in these people. A lot of soul, man. Don't see a lot of that now. Here's one of my favorite pictures. Now this was actually the Campfire Council picture. And this is a great painting because it's got Lowe's in here and it's got Geronimo, the campfire, see? And it's got, I think this is Victorio, and this is Nana back here with his hat. And probably Nache, that's probably Nache and Yanoza and some of the other boys. And they're sitting around the campfire. Wonder what they're talking about. Let's jump right in and see. This is Chato, famous scout back then. Yeah. This is, oh yeah, this is Chihuahua. Yeah, this is Chief Chihuahua. Yeah. Some of these photos are amazing, really, that they even got them. They even got photos like this. This is John Clum, the guy in the middle here. He was head of the San Carlos Reservation, blue coat, you know, but he liked to... This is an interesting character that I'll get into later about this guy here. He was either liked or hated by the Apache. Okay, he was kind of a different kind of guy, different character. We'll get into that later. Who are these people with him? Okay. Mojave Charlie's in there. I think that's him. Anyway, great shot. This is Cochise's daughters. Custer. Okay. Cochise's daughters. Beautiful women. Hardcore Apache. Cochise. Daughters of Cochise. Oops, I don't know what happened. Ooh, what happened there? Sorry, people. All right, wait a minute. Did something wrong here. Hold on, I'll correct it. Okay, I pushed the wrong button. I'm back. Here I am again with, and this is, okay, this photo has a bunch of Apache scouts in it, like Dandy Jim, and this looks like Peaches here. These guys were involved in a situation at Sibique. Some of these guys, not all of them, they were involved in a situation at a place called Sibique when the medicine man was there, the dreamer. And they were all meeting and they were having kind of like a big powwow with the dreamer. And the blue coats came in and killed Dreamer, actually. And I'll get into that later, too. That's a whole, I'll call that one Incident at Sibique. That was a big one. Geronimo fled, and Al Sieber was there, the chief of scouts. And anyway, this is another picture of the Apache kid. I'm going to start going through these a little quicker, maybe. Yeah, I'm doing okay, I guess. Here's another picture of the Apache kid when he was like, wow. How old was he there? I don't know. Yavapai. Probably with his family here. Amazing. Here's a picture I did of Geronimo. Painting. It's a good one. I like it. Here's Geronimo again, and this is with his two nieces. And he's dressed up, and this was later on, man. He'd gone through, when he was at Fort Sill, he actually became a celebrity. He went to one of the inaugurations of the presidents, sold his autograph, became quite well known as the human tiger or something like that. Everybody loved him, really. They flocked to get it. He made some money, let's put it that way. Here he was earlier, though. See, this is when he was young, and he's with Nape and probably Ilzana or Yanoza. I think this is Yanoza, one of these guys. See, they changed. I mean, you know, Apaches are shapeshifters. I mean, they'll look one way in one picture, and then the next picture they won't even look the same, really. It's kind of hard to tell with these. This is Geronimo, and he is in rare form here. He's young, and he's, you know, taking names and kicking ass, and he's got the two big conchos. They loved conchos on their outfits. That's a colorized version I did of him in front of a wall. This is Geronimo's daughter, one of his daughters. What do you think? Does she pass the test? I think so. Think I'm in love. Okay, we'll move right along here. This is Geronimo's son. Yeah, Chapo. Geronimo's son. Let's go in on him. Next we have, oh, I just did this as a comparison because I wanted to show you the difference between how an Indian looks when he's free like the wind before he's captured and sent off to camps and all that stuff right here. And then when he ended up eventually one of the Apaches at Fort Sill, guess what? This is at the Carlisle School, this is the Carlisle School. This is how they changed the Indian to be civilized, all right? This is how they changed him to be civilized. Which do you prefer? No doubt in my mind. There's Goyan again. She keeps showing up. She's flirting with me. This is another great picture of Geronimo in later years. Just a beautiful character of a man, no matter what he did. This is Nape. Good shot of him later on. Here's another one later on. I think this is Chihuahua here. This is Loco. Remember the guy with the scarred face? Nana. Geronimo. Who's this? Ozone? Okay. Ozone. I'll take it. I accept it. Love the native names, man. Now this picture here is a painting of the typical garb that they wore. Now here, if you stare at this picture, if you stare right into this guy's eyes for 2 minutes straight, you'll become an Apache. I swear. Who is this? Okay, so we got some more of the boys here. The reason I got this picture in here is because we got Mickey Free. This guy right here. He started all of the wars with the blue coats. Started off kind of this one guy right here. And that's a long story that I'm going to tell you about. But he wasn't Apache. He was a kid that was captured by the Apaches. And taken in like one of their own and was trained as a warrior. And yeah, he turned out to be an interesting character. Interesting character. Scout for the Bluecoats. Whole different story about him and the Cut the Ten incident and the start of the Apache Wars, really. I'll get into that later. We got, who we got here? Bunch of people. Man, that almost looks like the Apache kid there. I'm thinking it is. Yeah, I think it is. See, man, they took on different guises, man. I'm telling you. This is Katanye, one of my favorite warriors. Katanye. And he had a great family. And see, now I showed Goyan before, remember? Well, Katanye is lurking around because that's her husband. And here they are together. Goyan, the earlier photo, and Katanye, supreme warrior. Look at the way he's dressed. Wow. And look at these kids. Are you kidding me? Look at these kids. Look at their eyes. You think they're well behaved? Because I do. I do. And look at the mother. Look at the mother. What a beauty. I'm telling you. What a, to me, I wouldn't mind being part of this family. Another picture of Katanye. Great, great warrior. Did many deeds. I could do a whole video just about this guy. This is Logo again, the guy with the, got mauled by the bears. It's a close-up of him. This is Lausanne. Okay, this is my view. I found this photo, this rare photo out of nowhere. It came to me. And it was in black and white and all scratched up and all kinds of stuff. And I took it and completely restored it. And then I colorized it, made it into color. Okay. And you can tell it's the same, if you go back to that picture, the same profile, the same hair and everything. And this was something I put out on my, one of my websites, Apache Tracker. And it was picked up by True West magazine, or it got all over it's all over Pinterest, all over the internet. It's everywhere. Did I ever get credit for this? Well, no, not really. I even wrote True West magazine, said least you could do is give me, you know, guess it's, you know, it's common property, whatever. And here's a picture that I found that I thought was a good portrayal of Lausanne, or at least somebody's concept. This is Mangus, like Mangus, Colorado, but this is his son, I believe. See, there was Mangus and Mangus, Colorado, and one was the son, one was the father, and I think this next photo could have been the father. Big guy. Big long story about him, man. Oh, there's a terrific story about him, Mangus, Colorado. Oh, so many stories to do, so little time. Oh, man. Dandy Jim. This guy could come right out of a Western, man. He would have been right at home in some movie today. Look at this guy, styling, right? Got his boots on. He knows, he's got it together, right? Dandy Jim, man. More power to you, bro. Wow. Here's Yeah, this is Nache again with his wife. Good shot. And see, a lot of the pictures were taken in the same place. I'm thinking this was C.S. Fly's studio. I think that was his initials. It was Fly, at any rate, the guy that did pictures back in the Tombstone days. This was all around Tombstone, all this whole thing. Here's another one after they've been shipped off. I'm pretty sure they're still in their, they're kind of making the clothes transition. Can never tell with these people, though. They'd wear anything. That's another shot of. Saw that one. I like this painting. Says a lot to me. My youth. And I like this shot because this looks like Camelback Mountain. And there was a little ways away, a little area with some trees, some cottonwood trees. And hey, I remember being there. I mean, this painting brought me right back, man. That could be me. Wow. This is a guy named Nosy. See, they all had different names. John, Nosy, just all kinds of colorful names. I thought I would put this picture in. This has nothing to do. This is native, but I thought this was just a beautiful picture, one of my favorites, of how a kid can live on forever in the eyes. Because look at this woman's eyes, and look at this one's eyes. It's just, this woman, I don't care how old she is, she's beautiful. She is a beautiful woman, and the childlike feeling is still in her. I just thought I would put that on there. That's the esoteric me, thinking outside the box. This is a great shot. With Geronimo out in a field, man. I love this shot. This is the crew. This is his band. This is all the guys we've been talking about. And man, if you ran into these guys on a road out in the middle of the desert, well, I hope you know some Apache. That's all I gotta say. 'Cause you couldn't get more fierce, okay, and brutal, okay. We'll cover that side later. But it only came after the white man came in. See, they were pretty cool, chill people. Till the white man came in, caused the miners. That's what started it. I thought this was a great shot of just a classic looking dude, Apache dude. Older guy, kind of like me. Yeah. Amen, brother. Aho. This is Victorio. This was Lo Zen's brother. He ended up cornered in a canyon, and there's a long, colorful story about Victorio too, man. It's just amazing. I'll get into it. Honest, I will. Picture of Geronimo again, later days. Fort Sill. Hell, he lived to be 90. I think, the way Geronimo died is he Goyathle. That's his name, one who yawns. He died falling off a horse in the rain coming home from a saloon, I think, at 90 or something. He got pneumonia. Oh, Geronimo, brother, love you. This is a Wakiya, and this is how they lived. Wikiyups, Sometimes they had other things they lived in, like they did have teepees but the main thing, this was their teepee, a Wakiya. That's how they lived. And I think this is the final picture here. And I thought I'd end because this is a classic. Hell, this is even on T-shirts. I got a T-shirt that says, "Let the government take your weapons. They'll take good care of you," or something like that. Yeah, this is a great picture, and I think that's Nape. Is that Nape? Could be. Just the dynamic. This is a classic picture. This says it all. This says it all about the Apache people. Yeah, so anyway, I think I'll end on that note today and just talk a little bit here, if you can bear with me. Let me just show you something here real quick. I hope you like the video. This is my sister channel or sister site, website, spiritofcrazyhorse.com. And my email's there, rogerthunderhands@gmail.com. And my books are there, these 2 books. Come on by and check it out sometime. And if you wish to donate, if you enjoy this video and you want to support the channel, let's put it that way, it really, really helps. Really helps. Appreciate any gifts offered. And you'll get one of these books as a PDF. I'll give it to you for any donation, any gift. I'll give a gift in return. So, and then the prayer circle's on there too. You can always email me here at rogerthunderhands@gmail.com. Appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Wow, you know what? I guess people like this tack I'm going on. I'm kind of reverting back to how I started out, really. But anyway, got about 67 new subscribers in a month. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. I hope you enjoy this dive into indigenous people, There's going to be a lot of stories and a lot of new things coming up on this channel about these people and how it might correlate. What lessons can we learn from it? How does it correlate to today's world? Love these people. Really do. Love my brothers and sisters out there too. Love all you guys. Hang in there. It's rough times, It's rough times. So anyway, where am I here? I don't know. Where am I? Adios. Gotta say adios now. Getting lost in the end thing here. This whole arrangement, I got the software and everything. Just trying to battle it. Here. Anyway, Wopila and Aho.